Hello everybody, Comrade Kelly here. Today we're gonna do a pretty interesting video today. We're gonna do my top 5 favorite EasyTech games mods. So this is just an experiment and a way for me to give my opinions on all the mods I've reviewed so far. Oddly enough, I think some of these mods I couldn't really find it on my channel, but I swore like I actually reviewed them in the past already, but for some reason I couldn't find them. So maybe I also plan to do some like throwback mod reviews. So I'll re-review them and like give my opinions on some of them, like on individual videos. So, cause lately we haven't been really getting a lot of mods lately. So why not go back to some of the classic mods from previous games? So that's my idea. So let's just start with this list. In number 5, that would be the World Conquer 3 Big Map mod. So as the title suggests, this mod is set in the Second World War and it has a big map in it. There's also a World War I version, but I prefer this version. So let's move on to the Conquest right now. You can see the whole world map right now. It's pretty accurate, but sadly it doesn't contain the whole actual world. Like we can't really see some part of South America, and we can really see Indonesia too, and the tip of like Australia or something. So yeah, pretty hard. But it would be really interesting to just experiment and play around with this mod. And I think this mod has been abandoned, sadly, because only two conquests has been finished. But I think that's really all you need, because I think each campaign or conquest in this game would take a really long time, since you got a lot of things to move. So aside from being big map, there's also some things that some of you guys may also like. So this mod, as in the damage stats for the units, they're actually pretty well balanced, I can say. So nothing too like broken, nothing too like there's no tanky units, like overly tanky, that it gets pretty it doesn't satisfy me, and that's just my opinion. So in this mod, the units are not too tanky and they don't do like too OP amount of damage, and yeah, overall it's just a really fun mod to play. But sadly, the reason why this mod is so low in my list is because it has one big problem. That would be a virus. So when you want to get this mod, you have to get it at your own risk. So I wouldn't really recommend some of you guys if you're like afraid of virus infecting your phone. But for those who just don't really care, this mod is perfect for you, and it offers quite a lot of hours of fun. So prepare to grind yourself. So you can see Belgium itself is really big. Same with the Netherlands, and yeah. You can see Donetsk Wolfpack, it got bigger too. And America's a pain to invade in this one. The Soviet Union too. Same thing with China. They're all really big nations. And can't believe I'm gonna say this, but I think the British are probably the most cancerous to invade, because they have so much out here. So there we go. I'm gonna put a link of this one, and also I might also put a link of the World War I one. Maybe from what I know, that one has no virus. Number 4 on the list would be BJ's mod. So BJ's mod is a European War 4 mod based around the First World War. So this is probably one of the first mods I've ever downloaded, and for such an old mod, a lot of effort has been put into this. You can see all the generals has been changed, and it's an infinite amount of shuffle, so that's one big thing already. But yeah, as you can see, you can just shuffle infinitely, and so much like famous characters to work with. Some of them are from World War II, some of them are from the First World War only. You can see a young Mao Zedong over there, young Zhukov. So yeah, De Gaulle, Pershing, so forth and so forth. We got even Moltke here. We got the Hood, Hamilton. So yeah, a lot of oh, you got Daddy Sun over here, Sun Yat-sen. But yeah, a lot of new generals. And those are not just a new thing here. We also got in the Conquest a lot of new scenarios. So first of all, we got 1911, 1914, 1915, 1916, 1917, 1918. So in 1911, it's basically just 1914 but with a Qing in it. Let's move on to just 1914 so I can show you off some stuff. So let's just play as France right now. And as you can see, a whole lot of unique units, and the animation works perfectly too. The damage stats are satisfying enough, like nothing too broken. And yeah, it just works perfectly for me. So you can see you got planes over here. For how the planes work, they're pretty interesting. They're lightly defended, but they can attack from a long range. So I would suggest you guys take this guy out. I think this Ludendorff on a Paris railgun. So something you really have to take out because he can do a lot of damage. So there are some unique German units in this game, and they are pretty OP to say the least. And yeah, so you can see the world. Russians, they have their own uniform. The Germans, we got their pickelhaubes. We got the Austrians, we got the Ottoman, the Greeks, the Serbians, and so on and so forth. So there's also other scenarios. You can guess what they are. Let's just move on to the campaigns. In the campaigns, a lot of new unique stuff. Again, I probably won't fully review them, but all I can say is the reason why this ranks number 4 on my list is because of all the unique missions, all the unique units. The conquest is pretty interesting. All the generals are changed, and yeah, just basically a revamp of European War 4. So you can see here, you get lots of like custom missions. So let's just play one of, not play, but like show you off one of them. And this would be the Korean War. So as the Japanese, you have to try to beat the Qing forces and capture all the objectives. So even the campaigns are pretty fun. You've probably seen Bruce Illuminati played some of them in the series. Same with War Master. So yeah, that's it for this one. Let's move on to the third one. The third one would be the World of Iron Critical Weapons mod. So this was made by the Korean modder. Sadly, I think he's retired from the EasyTech community. I think, what was his name? Mikaitu. So I'm not sure what Mikaitu does nowadays, but he used to make really good mods. And he would translate some of the Pai2 Chinese mods to English. So he was pretty great modder in general. So these are some of his mods. That would be World of Iron. And the reason why I like this mod is, probably one big reason is there's a lot to choose from, the scenarios, especially for World Conquer. And another one is the color palette. I'm not sure, I just really like the colors he's chosen. And the unit damage in this game, I guess they're pretty alright. And yeah, just let me just experiment, see what's their unit damage like. Again, pretty satisfying enough, nothing too broken. And yeah, that's it. So the reason why this would rank third on my list is, in general, there's just a lot of conquests to choose from. And you know, it's a great time killer. You just go around and like doing some scenarios that you wouldn't do in other mods. So we got the Spanish Civil War in 1942. So we got Barbarossa. 47, that would be the Chinese Civil War, I believe. Here we go. 1960, yada yada. You got, yeah, basically a lot of new stuff. So if you wanna play from like ranging from World War I scenarios to like Cold War to like Modern War, all of this is all in here. And the generals, again, they're unlimited medals, so you can just upgrade them. I think there were also Animu generals, if I remember, actually. Let me find a way to find them. So I'm gonna dismiss Patton. See ya. And you know, if you go, if I remember, it's somewhere in Nanking. No, that's the nationalist headquarters. That's Qing. Is it in Xiu? Nope. But yeah, you can see there's also quite a few unique generals. You got Asia. I think it's in Lake City, Salt Lake City. So yeah, you can see we got some cartoon characters, game characters, and anime characters. So again, if you want to play realistic, you can not just ignore them. But if you want to just have a bit of fun with, like, let's say SpongeBob or something, then yeah, this mod is for you. So let's move on to number 2 on our list. The second mod on our list would be the extended map mod. So this was actually a pretty tough choice for me between the first spot. But the only reason why this was made second for me is because, first of all, I think I played way more. I spent way more time in the other mod than this one. But still, this is still one of my favorite mods out there. The reason for that is, let's go to the campaigns actually. And I'll just show you off right now one of the campaigns you can play here. So basically in this mod, a lot of like custom scenarios have been created for you. So this would be the 6 Days War, and you got some objectives to follow, and yeah, just have fun in this mod. So you can see scenarios that you rarely see nowadays in mods, except for the the Great Patriotic War mod. He has lots of like World War II related scenarios or Cold War. But this one, I don't know, I just like it more because it's less spammy, I guess, and the unique stats in this game is way more fun for me, at least. Again, that's just my opinion. You're entitled to have your own. If you want, you can share what you want. What are your top 10 mods? Top 5 actually, in the comments below. So yeah, I can just check them out. But yeah, these are just my opinions. A lot of custom missions. There's another one here that would be, I think, the Vietnamese one. No, this would be the Chinese Civil War. So again, what makes this interesting is a lot of programming went into this one. So I don't know, in the middle of like this campaign, these guys, I think they would switch to your side and like what you call this, betray the Kuomintang. So there's gonna be a lot of Asian missions here, from like the Chinese campaign, so the Chinese Civil War, the Sino-Japanese War, the Vietnamese front. All of these are like super underrated fronts, especially the Chinese one. Like, people rarely talk about it. So it's good to see a modder put effort into creating all these wonderful scenarios. So yeah, I'm not sure, I forgot, but let's just check out our conquest if to see if there's any new things added. Also, I see in this one, in this conquest at least, it's just basically one scenario, and that would be the northern hemisphere against the south. I'm not really sure what they're trying to do here. It's still pretty interesting. Still a pretty interesting conquest, and maybe some of you are crazy enough to try this, because yeah, that's a lot of things to go through. But again, it's your choice if you want to go through this madness. So yeah, that's about it for this month. And before we move on to the first, my favorite mod of all time, some of you guys probably would have known what it is already, because I probably answered it in my Q&A questions before. But for those who don't, I have to mention some other mods first. Here are some of my honorable mention. One of the first honorable mention would be the Anime Belicho mod. Again, I think this is just Anime Belicho, the series in general. So the reason why I chose this mod is not so because, you know, I like the mechanics of it, but I still did enjoy this mod quite a lot, like more than I should really. But the reason why I chose this mod is probably for more on like personal reasons. So during my early days of YouTube, I had like, I don't know, like less than 100 subscribers. So the creator of this mod approached me in the comment section. He asked me to do a review on one of his mods. And you know, I was surprised a modder would just approach such a small channel. And you know, I was really grateful for, you know, him considering me as one of the YouTubers from the EasyTech community. So we've come a long way since then. Now, as of the recording of this video, I think I have around close to 11,000 subscribers. And sadly, the guy who created this mod, I think his name is BC Yoshida, sadly he has retired from the EasyTech community to I think he's just doing like real life stuff right now, socializing with friends. And yeah, good on him, I guess. But it's not just for personal reasons. I think this mod is actually genuinely interesting in general. Let's just switch our language to English first. Let me show you why. Because in this mod, the health in this game is bloody ridiculous. Let me show you why. So this is a general, right? These are normal looking units. See how much damage they can do. 367. They could have almost one-shotted them. Let's try this, 432. And if you could just upgrade all your techs, which you can easily with the unlimited resources, you can just go around smashing all this non-general unit. So again, aside from OP damage, look at their health. This person has like around 3,229 health, so no way a normal unit would even scratch these units. But the thing about this mod is, I don't know, it just interests me quite a lot. General versus generals, they're really a fuckfest, because you can see they're just damaging each other, and they're like throwing hundreds of damage on each other's like big health pool. And yeah, just really fun to watch, honestly. Like at the end of the day, as long as I don't care on how much units you have, the more I'm worried about is like how much generals you have actually. So China in this one is actually pretty threatening, because they have so much generals to do the meat shield for them. The Japs have also quite a few generals, but I don't know, I think the Chinese have a fighting chance, so this mod's actually pretty easier for them to play as. And you know, again, if you like anime lore, there's combining 3 of the most famous military animes. The first one will be Girls on Panzer, the second one Kan Cole, and the third one would be Strike Witches. Again, all of them are buyable in the shop, so it's pretty fun to play one of your favorite waifus, you know. You can see all of these generals, so much to choose from, and it's all arranged properly: tanks, planes, and ships. So that's my first honorable mention. My second honorable mention would be the big world map mod for World Conquer 4, the one made by Turkish Modders. So I've done a review of this pretty recently actually. I think it's the last video I reviewed actually. But yeah, the reason why I put this in my honorable mention is because this mod is still a work in progress, and you know, it would be pretty unfair to put it pretty high up on the list. But aside from that, I have really high hopes for this mod. As of now, it's still not done yet, as you can see, North and South America. But like once this mod finish, I think this is probably one of the biggest mods that will come out of the EZTech community for quite a while. And you know, again, I really like the unit stats in this game. I don't know, it's just super interesting. So yeah, the big map world, I don't know, I just have something for big maps. So again, the unit stats in this game, satisfying enough to play, nothing too broken. And you know, it actually makes the generals not too OP actually compared to vanilla or some other mods. So yeah, this is the reason why I put this in the honorable mention. So let's move on to the last mod, my all-time favorite mod. And that would be at number 1, the World of Iron mod. So there's 2 versions of this mod actually. The original mod would be what is that? The Men of War Assault Squad mod for World Conquer 3. And the English translated one would be the World of Iron 2 mod made by Mikai2. So difference of this 2 version is, I think this version has some anime in it, but it's English. The other one has no anime, but you know, it's all in Chinese, so it all depends on your taste. But I rather play this because, you know, I'm more familiar with English than Chinese. So the reason why I like this mod, firstly, is because the scenarios here are probably one of my favorite. Like all the scenarios, all the conquests actually, never mind, not just scenarios. I really enjoy especially the World War II ones. And you know, the Russian Civil War ones was pretty fun too, I guess. But most of the time, I just usually play in this one. So these are probably one of the few mods I still play in my spare time. Like when I'm out doing something and I'm bored, so I pull out my phone and I play like a few rounds of this mod. So the reason why I really enjoy this mod, first of all, a lot of conquests to choose from. Secondly, the unit damage in this one is super satisfying. I don't know why. Like sometimes you would have a hard time to take out like a 5-star tank or something. But there were also those instances where you can surround like weaker units with some strong units with weaker units and surround them, and that's really satisfying too. So it's probably the biggest thing that why I like this mod is because of all the custom units in this one. So you can see a lot of iconic tanks scattered all around. We got a Panzer IV, we got a Tiger II, we got a Tiger I, we got a Panther here too. And you know, you may notice, wait a minute, that's a lot of tanks. And the reason for that is, for some countries, if a tank levels up high enough, they change to another tank. So I think what happened to this King Tiger is, I think when you max out the Tiger 1, it will become a King Tiger. I'm not too sure though, but I've seen Soviet tanks become KV-2 too suddenly. So yeah, that's just it. You can see some iconic Soviet tanks. I think these are the, wait, what are these? The T-35s, if I'm correct? I'm not sure. I think this is a T-35. And we got Katyusha rockets, you know, we got a KV-2 in Moscow. And there's also some KV-1s lying around, and some KV-1. Same thing with Japan, iconic tanks. The Chinese, I think they get American, so we got the M5 Stuarts. For the Italians, not too familiar with their names. I think like what are the iconic Italian mediums? So the P-34, and yeah, some other tanks I forgot the name of. Sorry. The Brits, they, of course, they get the Churchill. I think they also get the Centurion at one point. Some Crusaders too, if I remember. And yeah, again, the unit damage in this game is satisfying as hell. And like, they also have this special feature for some years in France, where if you take Paris, they just capitulate. So how satisfying is it that when you like bomb rush France and you take Paris, you just capitulate all their country? So I find that pretty satisfying, and it's pretty fun mod to go around all together. So that's really all my explanation why I like this mod. Really good scenarios, probably one of my favorite. The unique units, that's a big thing for me. I really like seeing all these tanks. And lastly, that would be the unit stats and damage. You know, it's just really fun. So that's it for my mod list. I hope you guys enjoy it, and you know, please comment down below on what are your top 5 favorite mods. Again, be civilized down in the comments. You really don't have to heavily disagree on me. Again, this is just my opinion. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.